That's what I want white people to understand is we should be going to protest rallies and saying, why aren't more black people's involved in managing us? We're inferior.
We need their help.
Yeah, you hardly ever hear of black people getting strung out on meth, but it's, come on. It's a white person. We're dumb. And we need management. Black lives matter because they're the natural leaders here.
Yo. Yeah, that's over there.
See, he was. What's up, fellas?
Hey, man.
You can hear me.
I like it when the person you're trying to hear just doesn't believe you. It's like, no, you can hear me.
Yeah.
Like I say that for my
Fine.
health. Like somehow like I get something out of it other than better audio.
Good
Shit.
morning, fellas.
Andy, there's someone behind you.
Yeah, I know.
Don't move. Don't startle him.
Cut in line.
I
This
think,
is my chair. I've been here. This is my place. So Gary can hang out, but he's going to need to shut his fucking mentally deranged mouth and let me.
He's definitely eyeballing you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, before we get started, I want to start with, well, this is the start. Someone in the Patreon questions asked about RSS feed. I just enabled that, and it should have sent an email out to everyone. So every time we put an episode out, it will end up in their email box to get the RSS feed. They just have to sign up for it, but they have an email in there already waiting for them. And just want to let them know. Thanks for letting us know about that. It wasn't that hard. It was pretty easy.
Thanks, Karen.
Stop using that fucking word. God damn, that word annoys the shit. Especially when funny people use it. God damn it. Stop it, Andy.
That's it.
That's a meme. That's a meme that fucking became popular from unfunny fucking people.
Yeah, from people who couldn't think of something funny to say.
Yes.
Hang in there, baby.
I'm also pretty sure it's more of a Chad, right? Than a Karen.
I had to look up what that was because I used it for a joke a little while back and I wasn't
That's
sure.
what
I knew that my name was something, but I wasn't sure what it was. And it turns out it's a guy who gets a lot of pussy.
Oh, it is?
So,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I saw your joke. That's all I was talking about.
That's actually what Ron Jeremy means in guy who's constantly hounding Jesus.
You see, kids, Ron Jeremy was a porn star from the 80s.
And
comic. They've been reading about it on the Cancel Network.
You can't cancel Ron Jeremy. You can only charge him with rape.
What's going on?
Ron Jeremy got charged with like 3 counts of rape and assault. And then one of the articles I read was like a woman who said she was like at a porn shoot. She was a porn star. She's at a porn shoot. They're on break. Ron Jeremy's not even in the porn. He's just there, and he comes up and sticks fingers in her. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Ron Jeremy.
Is that kind of like how you squeeze the plums at the Safeway?
Well, I have
scouting.
It's like a comic going up and doing time at the club, you know? It's like, I might not be on the bill tonight, but I am Bill Burr, so I'm going up.
It's when I was all hammered in Florida, and Doug was talking about me, and he goes, "Do you want to come up?" And then I jumped up, and I had no business being up there, but that was the equivalent of jamming a couple of fingers in a.
I remember catering. That. That's where that was the gig where your table kept talking.
No,
and I had to sit next to you so you'd shut up.
Just reference issues with Andy 30 something.
I thought Andy said, no, that was a totally different time that I was disturbing the show and you had to tell me to shut up.
Every time I go to Florida, there's something that happens bad, and that wasn't it. The bus
True
crash.
for a lot of people.
A nervous breakdown.
The bus crash. that happened.
The legal problems, the pedophile confrontation.
Season 1 of Issues with Andy is available now on DVD. So
yeah,
Well, that's our sizzle reel right there.
I did go to Orlando once with just family and went to Disneyland, and I don't remember having any mental breakdown. More so than a person does at Disneyland. You know, quiet meltdown.
Standard Disney World breakdown.
Yeah, I remember at some point there's my kid had a big hot dog, which you don't even want your kid to eat anyway, and then it fell on the ground, and then I was supposed to go take it and rinse it in the bathroom, and I was like, the fuck him, what has happened to me? Not doing this shit. Bullshit. I took that wiener and I chucked it.
Rinsing a hot dog in a Disney World bathroom.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I, a juggalo?
Shitty Tom Waits lyric.
Juggalo. Disneyland juggalo, rinsing a fucking wiener in the fucking, no.
You know how you kick a guy under the airport bathroom to initiate homicide? I think washing a wiener in the bathroom at Disney World is the same code. Yeah. What do you mean you didn't want it? I saw you.
Maybe you didn't notice my wide stance in the shitter, but I'm rinsing a Polish sausage here in the sink. If I got to be any more obvious, you're going to check your dick.
Shit. Yeah.
I'm drinking how you get good champagne is you go by the number of dollars it's marked down. So this was $14, but I got it for $9.
Oh, I thought you just got a Sharpie and took it to the store with you.
He's switched price tags with the Bill Madlock glove.
Would you look at that? It's the wrong color. I'll take it at a discount, but you can clearly see that's not matching up with the color chart. I still haven't looked for my glove. It's down in the basement, but I've been working. I did 2 days back to back of being a fucking man and doing fucking work and fucking up on the work and yelling obscenities when it goes wrong and dealing with it. But I got some shit done.
Good.
Yeah.
We're locking back down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's dying out there.
Yeah.
Earthquake
this morning, and our numbers are skyrocketing. So
us too.
They tell you when in the event of an earthquake to go into a door frame, but in LA you got to watch out and make sure there's nobody near it because you got to socially distance. And if there's a cop anywhere near there, you may just stay in the rubble because the cop will. You want to get bludgeoned, a shot,
or just have do you want your head caved in by a chunk of cement or a billy club?
Either way, if the officer doesn't like you or you stay inside, you're gonna suffocate.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, out here it's
sunny California.
I will say the ringtone of Skype from calling in is now having, like when I used to work and I had to get up in the morning and like if I ever hear that alarm, it's like it triggers you like back to that. I gotta go to work. Yeah, this is happening. Like Pavlov now. It's like dun 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 dun. Time to drink. Time to drink.
Good.
Yeah. You like that kid in Bad News Bears that finally got his chocolate bar. Like,
Grossberger?
Yeah. If I didn't smoke weed till just when we podcast.
You're mixing up different shows, Eric.
I think I did this last time we did.
I know we had the same problem.
Grossberger was in fucking the Richard Pryor movie about prison.
Oh yeah, it was the guy with the high falsetto singing voice.
I would like to see a movie
I thought
where
Delroy Lindo was the guy from Ghostbusters, so I'm not a fucking movie person.
Yeah, I think they should have done.
Engelberg.
I don't think they could do it now, but have a movie with all the fat guys in all the other movies. Like all the fat, not lead actors, but just all the fat guy from
the kid from the Sandlot with "You're Killing Me, Smalls" kid.
Yeah, the one who ate all the pie.
Yeah.
Jenny informed me the other day that I am a ridiculous amalgam of like Fred Flintstone and Donald Duck and Homer. I'm like the biggest fucking cliche cartoon asshole in the world, apparently.
Well, you're the guy who beat up Stan Marsh in remember the Little League episode?
The Little League.
This was America.
Mr. Marsh. What do you got? Yeah, that's why I never got into the team sport bullshit. Because my kid always just did the I would tell her she was ice skating and she'd compete and stuff, but it was like, you're never going to learn what it's like to fail as a group. That's what sports is. You accept wins and losses, but you can always scapegoat other people when you
It's never your fault.
Yeah, but ice skating was like, God damn it, you didn't hit your goddamn jumps, man.
Yeah. Unless you do what my daughter did, who makes the worst choice of all, and that is become the goalie for the soccer team, because then your team can lose. And it can be all your fault. Yeah. It gets to be all your fault. Way to go. And if the team wins, a lot of time might not have had that much to do with it. So it's not even like you're the hero,
It
was brutal. Brutal being the parent of the goalie, because you stand there and you watch the game for 90% of the game. Your kid is not involved in any way. And you're just kind of standing there. And then for 10% of the game, it's absolute sheer terror, because this is, oh shit, oh god, fuck, it's the worst.
Watching the ice skating was like that. When she'd compete, was like I knew the program, so I just like, oh, it's all lovely here on the footwork. This is a nice sequence, but we got that big jump sequence coming up. Oh, I don't like the expression she's got here. Oh god, we're going into that turn a little wrong. Oh fuck, now she's down. Get up, don't be a pussy. Come on, you're ruining the weekend. Then I realize I'm videotaping. I really can't.
It's nice narration.
Jesus.
I got lucky. All my kids got into pot early, so I didn't really have to do anything. They weren't
solved.
They weren't interested in anything at all. So and I could get them to sell 20 bags for me and make a profit and smoke for free. So
the big earner is the one who takes the Rubik's Cube, takes a hammer to it, and reassembles it, and you're like, all right, you're in charge.
You're going to be foreman at least.
One of the first fights I remember getting in as a little kid, maybe not the first one, but an early fight. I was a little kid. Somebody was playing my Rubik's Cube, and they took the stickers off and fucking put them all back on like they did it, and I beat the shit out of him right away.
Yeah, they never all stayed back on. If you peeled them off,
they were
you could easy.
I don't know why we had one at my house, but I do remember chucking that at Larry. And by the way, Larry's I don't know. I mean, he's Larry's heart capacity is it ain't great. 22% Larry's heart rate's at.
You're saying it's almost time for the great race to Larry's
Well, you saw him drumming on the bongo drums. That's what his heart is doing right now. So the great race to get the methadone might be on anytime.
Yeah. Is he going to the doctor regularly?
Yeah, he went to the doctor. Yeah, he did go to the doctor. He's got a pacemaker, and it's firing. Yeah, he's got all kinds.
He's only got 22% heart capacity.
No,
it's operating 22%.
That's not good, dude.
It seems weird that Larry would go to the doctor like
dead.
I don't go to the doctor. I have like stuff going on, but I don't go to the doctor because I know they're gonna be like, yeah, you're fucking fat, dude. You weigh 275 pounds. That's why you are like that. Lose weight. You would think that Larry would. Like that. You would think that Larry wouldn't go to the doctor. He'd be like, "Doc, my heart's off." Well, yeah, you're on methamphetamine, Larry. Don't do that.
That's what my brother David put it into perspective about Larry's bad heart. He goes, well, he had a bad heart. He goes, the guy blew out his heart doing speed for like 20 years, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is kind of a health pre-existing condition. 20 years of banging speed and running amok but would you rather be a tightrope walker or somebody who just saw the show and tried to explain it to you? You know? I got it up here on my bulletin board. Well, you can't even see it, but it's Larry's top 5 Coos list 5 most wanted, and he was rocking a mullet and he had a fucking cool tan.
Wait, his FBI most wanted. He had a Coos Bay most wanted at the post office.
Yeah, it's just a fucking local. It was no beauty contest, I'll tell you. There's like 5 other people. It's
nice to get recognition.
Yeah, but he got it 2 weeks in a row. Like, they didn't say, continuing with the countdown. You'll recognize this face from last week.
Number 1 with a bullet.
A long distance dedication to his kids. But the good news is David probably won't have to move him into a new trailer. But Larry has photo like he took 2 or 3 photo albums, and then when he was wired, I assume, or maybe he was just feeling real crafty. But he hot glued all the pictures to the wall of his dilapidated fucking cousin Eddie RV.
I feel like anything you do with a hot glue gun is tweaker inspired.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
I've done methamphetamine, and that is methamphetamine.
Yeah.
You don't fucking get that idea without methamphetamine.
Yeah,
maybe that's a new term for on a like a speedhead. You don't, like, at the dinner table, you go, he's feeling a little crafty. I think we should probably hide the toaster.
Well, yeah.
Hide the hot glue gun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I didn't even know Larry was crafty till I visited his place there, and it was like, wow, what are you doing with all them glass shards? And he goes, I'm making a mirror. What? You're making a mirror? You had a mirror.
I remember when you told us this before, and I actually gave Larry way more credit, because when you shared a picture of the mirror he made, I was like, holy fuck, that's horrible.
Yeah, he was using a mirror to make a marijuana leaf.
Yeah.
Thing glued to a table. So I mean, like
a mosaic.
I'm gonna go over and just lay claim to the trailer. Everything within this, I'll just set up a crime scene thing, and nobody at the Tweaker house will not question it.
Yeah, it's like putting up a dog bowl, a big dog dish outside of the front door of your apartment. You put up a caution tape around the trailer, and tweakers will just naturally stay away, choose other places to go to.
I may go down and see him and ask if he's got any clones.
I think that's the wrong tact.
Yeah.
I think if you put the tape up, everyone's gonna go, "Whoa, there's something in there." There,
yeah.
Like it probably doesn't look inviting already.
Then
you put tape around it, it might.
You also you need that YouTube video of the Dobermans barking to be playing inside the trailer the whole time. They'll be too afraid to go in.
Since I fixed things up out here, the squirrels haven't been out here. I got it all restained and painted, and maybe they got the hint, that past behavior of coming up and clambering up my feet and shitting on the rail, no longer tolerated here.
Maybe they heard what you were saying about him.
I got my white card. Yeah, a little piss and shitting, I don't mind the pissing, Everybody has a bird cloud fantasy,
Says the guy who left his fucking pants behind a slot machine in Vegas.
More than once.
Yeah, I mean, they don't tell you you're.
Him in the tracks at the bottom of his drive.
I'm only incontinent in Vegas.
A little squirrel trash can at the end of your handrail.
Right where they jump on.
I think there's just too much going on in Vegas for me to remember to use the toilet.
You need a little slot machine on the rail so they can know where to go.
Oh, God damn it.
I don't even gamble.
There is a lot of stimulus in Las Vegas, Andy. I will admit that.
And stimulants.
Yeah, it's a combo deal. All right, I'm gonna make a drink.
Make one.
I'm finished with having my coffee. No, but I was having my coffee still. So I gotta make a bloody. So keep talking.
Well, that's gonna be a fun shit. Bloody Mary right after a coffee.
Yeah.
That's the
Crazy.
break.
At least he's vegan, so it won't form any. It won't form into anything.
That's true.
Hey,
Just be like
Andy, I
the
got a couple
oil
questions for you. I got a couple questions from the Patreon. I've noticed there are two. Ghost Gerbil asks, I've noticed that there are two Andys. One is a drug-addled, sometimes suicidal hellraiser. The other, a sedate older man with a passion for horticulture and ornithology, or ornithology. Sorry. How do the two Andys coexist in the same body? Does one prop the other up, or do they fight?
I haven't. They've never really even sat down together. It's like blackout drunk me. I've never hung out with him, but I hear good things. No, but yeah, it all comes together. Like you can't be a manic fucking ready to kill yourself without planting a few pansies now and then. I like planting shit and watching it grow, and then watching it, and then knowing I'm gonna have to pull it up because it's dead. I don't even know what ornithology means. Is that the study of O.J. Simpson?
That's ornithology.
I believe it's birds.
Yeah. No. I mean, birds are all right, but I mean, my cat kills them, and I don't shed a tear. So I don't know.
Well, I think it's because of the buzzards. You're interested in the buzzards.
Well, I want to kill them.
It's much the snakes too.
Well, there was the eagle, the buzzards. I could see.
Oh, that's right.
I'm surprised that he's only recognized 2 Andys out of all this. I could pull out about 6.
Yeah.
You need to catch up, Ghost Gerbil. You must be behind on the podcast.
Yeah, I just thought there were voices in my head. It turns out they're all individually built characters. It's just like Big Jim with different outfits,
Yeah. All right, I got one more while we're waiting for Erickson. There's an obvious answer to this, but I'm
not that gay.
I'll I'll solve it at the end. Gino asks, how do we send things to Andy? I homebrew and I can send him 2 liters of beer for the podcast. I want to fuel the fire. It's good shit. I do all kinds of stuff, so requests are welcome. Andy Ale would be an honor to make.
Well, pale. I like them pale beers. I usually go.
Sour? Do you like sour?
I like
beer?
tasty pale beer. I like it to look like somebody who took a piss and they were well hydrated, like not Budweiser piss. Not that clear shit.
That's a lager.
Yeah, but I don't like porters, and the darker the beers, I've stopped drinking those. It's more of it's like, fuck it, man. You can get, the alcohol out of them pale beers and not have as much to fucking work off with the stouts and shit. And plus, when you throw up a stout, that hurts. It fucking really hurts. I used to drink them Fat Tire, them stouts.
Yeah.
Exclusively. And I didn't even notice I'd put on 30 pounds, but when I puked, it hurt. It was like getting the fucking shit beat out of me. So I went with this lighter beer.
Inside.
Yeah. So pale ales, yeah. And you know how to send it is if it's like that, liquids, then it's the street address, which is, yeah, I can do that.
Well, you can always go to Venmo, send Andy contributions to his Venmo, venmo.com/Andrew-Andrist or hyphen. And then things can get mailed, P.O. Box 50482, Eugene, Oregon 97405.
And then get a hold of me about the liquids, because I'll give you the shipping address for that.
UPS, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want fucking James Inman showing up at my place because I gave out my street address.
Can't we just look it up on Airbnb, Andy?
You'd have to do some figuring.
Everyone's got nothing but time right now.
We didn't list the rope. We have a guest tonight, unofficially is coming tonight. And friend of the show.
Nice.
Yeah. AJ.
Okay.
Remember AJ? Saxophone player in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
He's coming through. Those guys.
He was on stage at Tommy Rockers, wasn't he?
Yeah. Him and James
Frost
and I think his name's Scotty put together the closing credits riff for my comedy special. Remember I said it's not a special unless people like it, and people like it, so now I'm comfortable with that word. It's a comedy special, but I asked him to do like a Star Spangled Banner, like if you were drunk and stopped caring about it halfway through. And that's what they did.
Like
It's called,
Roseanne.
yeah, it's a Star Mangled banner, and there's like some Pink Floyd elements to the end of it, so that'll be at the closing credits. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, those guys are good.
Yeah. So it's
I have a feeling I saw a picture of Andy on social media the other day, and I was like, "Where's that from?" And then I realized it's a screenshot from his special, and I went, "I bet Andy just shared this motherfucker out with the password with a bunch of people. It wasn't just us. He's just giving it to motherfuckers all over. Check out my special. It's not
there's
done at all."
actually about 6 or 7. That's about it, because I wanted opinions from different folks. Like I realize now I should probably share it with my brother Larry before he gets into the 15s. It's like that's when you got to recharge your battery.
I don't know that you want. I think,
yeah.
I laughed pretty hard, Andy. I don't. You might kill Larry with your new special.
Well, they'll be right there to clear up the trailer.
That's true. I was gonna say, do you think that like his heart is going to be operating off of the same system that powers the DVD player or whatever
generator?
It's the most fucked up thing.
Are you
man.
worried that if he's down to too low of a power source?
What it looks like when Larry got this thing, this about, I don't know, at least 5, probably more like 10 years ago. It was like I thought he was dead, and that's when my nephew went and cleaned out his drugs because we all thought Larry was dead. And I went in to say goodbye to him. He was not, awake or anything. And then he woke up and grabbed my hand, and it scared the fuck out of me. One of the scariest moments in my life, thinking Larry was dead and going, all right, man, well, it's been real. And he grabbed my hand, and then it's like, what the fuck? And then then he came back, and he had this thing. You remember those batteries you put on old video cameras? Those like slide in, those big fat. Yeah. That's what Larry has sticking out of it. It's like sewn into his chest, and they must have had to fucking stretch the skin like Buffalo Bob or Buffalo Bill or whatever. Like fucking,
You can see the battery shape.
Yeah, you can see it. It's like a fucking. It looks like
Iron Man shit.
It's like a pack of cigarettes if you could get extras. We've included 10 extra cigarettes. And that's what he's had for 10 years. So it's like,
Larry, we have 2 different pacemakers. Do you have insurance or not?
Yeah. I don't know how he does it.
One actually goes inside you. The other one, we're just going to stuff under some skin here.
I mean, one of his more valuable possessions is the fake teeth that don't quite fit his face. Like, what are we going to do with those?
Would he get them at an estate sale or something?
Yeah, I don't know where he got them. They did, like, somebody goes, we're going to fix your teeth, kinda. Or maybe somebody just gave. I think probably they was just given to
those
him.
aren't transferable, Andy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't get loaners.
Bartering is a crazy.
I know. I went to Larry's trailer, and I was like, I woke him up, and I was wearing my security windbreaker by accident. I wasn't trying to fuck with Larry, but so he's up on a couple of steps in the RV. And I'm knocking on his door, and he goes, "What do you want? What do you see?" He's looking through, and he can just see my jacket. And I'm like, and I go, "Oh, what up, Larry?" And then he finally opens the door, and then I'm staring at his teeth, and he can't. His eyes are fucked up, or he can't quite see it's me. So he's all skittish and shit, trying to scare off a cop. And I'm like, Larry, where'd you get those teeth? But he had perfect teeth. Those are perfect teeth, man.
Stop it, man. Come on, dude.
They are. They're just not in the right order.
Well, they are. They're just not for a person. It's like a fucking starfish.
Maybe for eating.
That's that's a picture of someone who eats teeth.
No, that's a Kentucky voter that has no trouble getting into the poll site. I'm voting for Mitch McConnell.
There's 3 polling places in that guy's town.
2 of them are right in his pants. One of them's related. That's still that. Remember that?
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I had to put it.
You didn't have to, but
like Larry.
That's not the worst one I found either, by the way.
Please.
I can't remember what happened with Larry's teeth other than, I mean, I know I knocked one of his your front teeth out back in the day, and then he had adjustments. I thought he looked really at the coolest when it was just chipped.
Was one of these right here?
Yeah, he was like a 17-year-old hippie, and he had a chipped fucking tooth. And and the whole world was in front of him. You know? And he lived the way you do when you don't think about consequences or how other people feel about it. And
it's like Oregon American graffiti.
Yeah, he's at 22%.
Driving around in a convertible and fucking macking on chicks in Coquille, cruising down the street.
Yeah, I'll take them that 5 years where Larry wore parachute pants and got away with it over almost any 5 years of my life.
It might have been a roller coaster, but the peak was pretty high for Larry.
Yeah. I mean, some of the I can't. Well, I mean, I'll wait until his funeral, and there probably won't be one with the COVID and all. But
you never know. He might surprise you. He
broke into a Catholic church before it was cool. He hit a police car drunk driving. Like, he did some shit. He was in the community action committing felony. He learned how to be a burglar and a pretty decent painter.
Oh, shit. Cheers to Larry.
Yeah.
I hope you're around for a long time, Larry.
Yeah, I hope you can. I'm gonna have to send him advanced clips on stuff. Well, at least though, because when we interviewed him for my thing that Prevent is working on, my life story movie about being molested and my family being a
your movie special.
My weirdo family shit, but we interviewed Larry, and I'd never, I mean, he was using the N-bomb quite a bit in the way that you do when you were in prison. And I mean, some of his stories directly involved, main characters that had these names. But Larry said he beat up a black guy in prison, and after that they called him Little Mean. But I don't believe this story at all.
Right. It was probably somebody else did that in prison, and
I don't even feel like he was in there with black guys. I think he was just, I read one of his letters he wrote to a girlfriend, and it was like, it's like, you're not supposed to read this stuff. And she was living in our house, and we wanted her out of there anyway. And Larry's writing her letters, and it's like, we can't wait to get back and give her golden showers. We're like, all right, he's moving. He's getting, this is not gonna.
You're reading Larry's diary?
Well, he sent these letters home, and
she was living in the Andrus family home at the time.
We never had a clear process on evictions.
So, but he's writing her love letters from prison. But they're coming to the same house you guys all live in because you all live together.
Save money on stamps. You stuff the envelope with everyone's letter.
Set it down on the desk, like all the other mail.
You don't get to know somebody by what they say directly to you, but you do when you read a love letter written to him to his, to his bitch. She was a bitch too. Fucking Lori. She switched around between George Pinkerton or Pinkston. George Pinkston, if you're listening, fuck you, George. Yes, I do know who you are, George. I just don't like you. He was always like hanging around with George Pinkston, Larry and George. And then they had the same girlfriend for a while, Lori. And then she moved into our house and then was like, Larry's in prison now. It's probably, I think that it's probably time you moved out. But Larry installed a lock system that you couldn't really, it's like, He did some special security on the inside of that place. So she didn't want to move for a while until we, that's how I learned some of my tricks. It's like my dad just empowered me to be a cunt. So I play loud music through the fucking walls and yell and shit. And I got her to
your dad used you to throw other people out of the house?
Yeah, he'd bad viber, but he's in a wheelchair. So, he was powerless. He was powerless after the first step.
Yeah.
There, you're like, his power diminished after 2 steps. And then on up, it was just verbal. My dad would yell and verbally try to get me to come down the stairs. Like, fuck no, man. What kind of dumb kid do you got to be to go like, he's mad and I think he's going to strike me. And in fact, I know that's what he's going to do, but I'm not going to fall for that trick. Not when I can go out a window and leave for a few days.
Yeah. Just like Big Jack.
Yeah, that's what.
Right out the window, right into the tree.
Yep. Yeah. Where's the time? My family was, well, we were always broke. My dad was, lost his earning power with the ability to walk, for the most part.
Well,
but the
didn't he get on some kind of disability though?
He got some veterans money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a vet and he had free medical and he got money. And then for a while, me and my brother got money to go to college. Like we were that entitled back then. And I was supposed to get money to go to college. And when Reagan was president, that was one of the things that got nixed. And I was like, Reagan was the first president I threatened to murder.
But not the last.
Well, yeah, it was like yeah. I mean, Carter, I didn't really care about, but for the most part, I was like, "Fucking, how do you get to these guys?" And then somebody did shoot Reagan. I was like, "Good, good for you," but that, he tried. That's what it's like. Even a botched assassin is better than most of us.
Yeah, it's disappointing though when you find out that he did it to impress a girl.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, but I think Reagan was also responsible for cutting all the funding to mental institutions.
Right.
So it's another example of someone who had benefits that were taken away.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the bigger picture.
Got what he deserved then.
Yeah. Well, like I said, LBJ being president got my mom an entitlement gig that got my brother John molested. So, being it doesn't
double-edged
matter.
Sword.
It doesn't matter who's president. And I say, yeah, it does. Kennedy got shot. LBJ started all them programs. My mom had no business running an office for fucking hobos.
Yeah, that just sounds like a poorly thought out idea.
Yeah. She's stupid. I mean, she was ignorant and but nice.
Well, I just meant the entire idea where someone's like, hey, why don't we make it so that housewives who want a job can earn some money by bringing in hobos to their family? I don't think that's a good fucking plan.
I mean, my whole childhood was affected by my mom's work in the community action. Junice Huntley sewing my Halloween outfits. That was a connection. John getting molested by Harold. That was our van got ripped off. I got a ringworm from going. I rode in the van out to Camp Humdinger. I just rode in the van. I didn't even get out at Camp Humdinger, and I got ringworm.
The ringworm is coming from inside the van.
Yeah, like that was an entitlement a camp called Humdinger, and they sent all the poor kids.
Or Humdinger?
I think either way. No. I haven't heard any secondhand stories, but I'm guessing there was some humdinging going on. I mean, if this if this world
it was Humdinger,
nothing, that
HUM, Andy.
Rich people have fucking rich people and entitled people, and the ones who cross the line have an unending appetite for poor kids' assholes. They enslave them. They fucking take them in hostage. That fucking Matt Getz out in Florida took in a Cuban kid.
Yeah, that is so weird, man. I saw that.
Yeah,
I adopted this kid with zero paperwork and didn't tell anybody until it suited my purpose. That was fucking strange.
And he's so fucking stupid that he got baited into saying, see, I have a kid. It's perfectly normal. Single dude adopting a Cuban kid, sort of.
A 32-year-old adopting a 12-year-old.
Yeah, and that kid's off to college now.
Well, that's okay. I mean, people could do nice things still, but this was with zero paperwork. Yeah, but this wasn't off the books fucking adoption.
That's slavery.
There's no reason for if you want to adopt a child at 32, that's fine. But you don't get a 12-year-old. Because that's
the story that I read is it was his girlfriend's nephew at the time, and his mom got killed in an accident, and he didn't have nowhere to go, so he adopted the kid.
Yeah. There was no one else there to groom him.
Which is again, that seems legitimate and above board, but you do some paperwork, man, and you people know about it. You don't do it just below ground and then expose it years later. That was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that kid will probably have a different story to tell in about 2 or 3 years, but it does seem
He's
a
got
little,
a good trust fund.
but it's
probably.
like
maybe we'll have him on the podcast for episode 200.
There's so many fucking well-meaning Christian families that all of a sudden ended up with a beautiful Mexican child cleaning their homes and living with them, and they've taken them in, they're helping out, because their parents went missing at the border, and these kids are alone, and they don't have anybody to tell them about Jesus and love and how it's okay to make love to an adult when you're a child. You just keep quiet, It's a Christian thing, and I don't get it, it's not political. I just don't think children should be fucked by people who feel like they fucking can do it.
Yeah, you could just stop after children get fucked.
I have to agree with you, as everybody probably would, Andy. But I think though too, there's too many fucking children, because I've watched like even my neighbors at one point did foster care a long time ago, and you'd watch them and you're like, who fucking investigates these people and decides that these kids are better off with them? One of the kids, it was like in junior high, and he was clearly gay. He came out later as being gay, but at the time he was a little kid and he wasn't out at all. He was a confused kid, and they fucking threw a birthday party for him and got him everything they got him for his birthday was like a dick lollipop. It was just a bunch of gay stuff. Completely humiliated the poor guy. It was. I was like, the fuck kind of parents does that, man? That's fucking weird. So yeah. There's.
I got at least one gay nephew. And I know and his parents are born again. They're evangelicals and born again, but they did not fucking throw him under the bus. It's like when he was a little kid, he was like it's beautiful, had long eyelashes, and he was very effeminate for a little boy. And one time he was twirling in an Afghan, and he said, not to me. He was talking to my mom. He says, "Look, Grandma, I'm a little whirlwind." And I was like, okay, I'm right. Yeah. He said, his parents, when that time came.
Little gay boy you could have been, Andy.
Yeah. Andy with his straw hat
raped
and his
it out of
little
you.
mitt.
I know when I saw that, I was like, go with it. Be the wind. Don't look back.
I was a little whirlwind too one day.
I was a little whirlwind till I ran into the spleen. And now I'm just a small little windstorm.
Having a mimosa.
Yeah. That was well worth the $8.
Sure, good.
The after party's gonna be lit here later, but I didn't eat the edible because I've started to realize I was like everything's going too well, and I still like to self-sabotage. So I'm like, what have I been doing in that regard? Eating the edible at 11 in the morning.
So you didn't do that today?
I haven't yet. It's still sitting here.
After we developed a system that required the 1 hour mark for the edible to be fully in force and just ramming you into both sides of the fucking lane.
I had ideas.
Bounce you back in.
This is what happens. I mean, this is why people who are in calm.
Did you just eat?
I think you just ate it. I was just joking, dude. I don't think whatever you want.
I don't think physical work is something you should be doing if you're funny. I don't like it. It makes me tired. I slid on the roof, or I was on my chest and my belly, painting the trim board from up above, looking down at a long drop. And I didn't cry, but I whined the whole fucking time.
You were whimpering and painting?
Yeah, the trim board. And then I realized at some point I'm not going to be able to do some of this. I'm gonna do everything up to 5.5 feet. But hanging over the edge is just for fucking people who don't,
That's not, Andy, that's not how you paint the trim on a roof. You don't get on the roof and
there's no way I can put a ladder up to.
Yeah, I've seen that terrain. He might be right about that.
And you call someone, man.
Yeah.
You don't get on the roof and reach down.
Or you paint it and then you never fucking paint it again. This is what you say. Take a good look, honey. Because this is the last time it's going to look like that. That's the best.
I don't use that term. I don't use that term. And 2, she can't see.
Well,
You're right. Well, fucking
So
tell
why
her
are
you
you
painted
painting?
it then.
Just
Just
tell
tell
her
her
you
you
painted
painted it.
No, because
You can just like put a couple of open buckets so she can smell it.
Yeah.
It's not for vanity. It's not for vanity. The wood's fucking crying out. It's like you ever see
All right,
some
well,
old
then just
person
take-
that needs lotion more than anything?
You're not
Their
gonna live
skin's all
there for
fucking
very much
caked.
longer. Just say you
Well,
painted
that's
it.
it, though. That's it, though. That's right. This is the last time. Then paint it really, really well. Get it done really well, and then that's it. It'll last another 10 years at least, right?
It won't be my business.
That's exactly right. Don't fall off the roof.
Yeah. I mean, look at the signs, read Revelations. It's all right there. I'm just painting for my own fun. I'm just doing it for exercise. I know the world's ended.
It's the only way you can whimper.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it reminded, because I told you guys I worked at a scaffold build. Like, I never really looked for work, but I found jobs a couple times, like the tire place. And we knew this other couple, and that douchebag Charlie worked at the scaffold building place, and he could get me a job there, even though I didn't want a job. But I got a job at a scaffold building place, and I wouldn't say I'm a coward on heights. I like to whimper.
This
I
is
can
like a
build
rental
Wait,
place, Andy.
So you built
Like
the scaffolding?
but for big, like they would do like big, resurfacing big buildings and shit. And the first gig we did was the first gig I got hired was that boiler gig. So we were building 15 stories of fucking scaffolding inside a fucking boiler.
No way. Fuck that.
That was the worst. And then I hated the job. And then I eventually got fired from it, but I fucking hated heights. And then I did my best, and I didn't whimper in front of this guy, but he saw me. I told you I fell. I was walking off a truck with a plank on my shoulder, and I've never been stronger in my life than carrying planks and frames, those big awkward fucking things. And I was like, fuck. I mean, like I'd see myself in the mirror and go, "You're jerking me off, dude." hey, buddy. But one time I was coming down a plank off the truck, fell, and I was carrying 2 planks because I was a badass at the moment, and I fell, and them planks landed on me, and they fell down, and that guy had already seen my, he didn't want me there, and then I did. But the thing I fucked up on is I got up and said, "Wow, that doesn't hurt. I didn't get hurt. I'm okay," which you never do at the workplace. When you take a fall in front of people with planks, you just lay down, man. And I got up.
Stay down.
I laid down. I got up and said goodbye to a workman's a way out of what I wanted to way out of. And that guy knew I didn't want to work there. And then he saw, the fucking lights go on in my head. He go, "Well, maybe my back's hurt. I might go see a doctor," or whatever. And then I got fired a week later because he said I'm afraid of heights, and I was shaking my leg. And that some of that was, I don't know, it just seemed kind of bullshit or whatever, because I'd done the gig for a while. But I hated it. I hated being like, God, I'm going to fucking fall and clang my fucking, I don't mind falling to death. I just don't like all the agony that would be inflicted in falling and hitting shit on the way down. Ow, God damn it. Because I hate it. I keep hitting my elbow on shit, and I go, God damn it. And I'm mad for like 10 minutes.
Well, and then it's after you hit your elbow and you're cussing about that you step somewhere you're not supposed to step, and then you do fall because you were thinking about your elbow, and now you're fucking twisted your ankle, and now you're falling, and now you're dead.
Yeah, and I hate that. I bet, but I'm okay with heights when I've been like on the. There's a couple of times where I'm like, I think I'll just jump off of this, and then it's like it all goes away. It's like, I don't need to hold the edge. I'll just walk out here. And then it's like, maybe, I don't know. But it's like, there's no fear in it. It's like, oh, good. There we go. It's like, that's how people, I think when you do that high wire shit is you just got to go, fuck it, I'm going. Oh, that worked. I made it across. Holy shit. I'll do that for a living now. I don't know.
I'm picturing Andy eating his lunch with all those guys in that big picture where they're all on that piece of fucking steel in the sky and that girder eating lunch.
The first weekend I got the first thing
Why do we
I
gotta
went
eat
over
up here?
I did this gig. It was a traveling gig. We went and did the boiler, and that was when I told you about this. Is they hired all these temp guys, and I was below them in this fucking passing shit up and down shit, and they're fucking, these are temp guys, and they're dropping these things, and I'm like, I was a new hire for this company, so I'm like, fuck this shit. And I went up above them, which was much better because you could hurt them instead of them hurting you. And I remember coming down, and then this one guy I had a particular problem with, and then I walked in. I'm clumsy. I'm always knocking and shit over. I can't, if there's a hose with a kink in it, chances are I'll be unaware of it and fall over it. And it fucking bothers me every day. But I kicked into this guy's thermos, and he thought I did it on purpose. And then he picked it up and was like, not only did I ruin his thermos, I also ruined his soup lunch. And he was fucking livid pissed, And I didn't do it on purpose. And I had to go, like, I'm a new employee here, so I just kind of hid behind the company.
I don't know. We're not supposed to kick thermoses. I'm new.
Shouldn't have put your thermos where my foot was.
That was what I beat up Ski White's brother with, was my thermos back in the day. I've used a thermos for violence. Yeah. Yeah, I got, well, that's what, God damn it. I got held back a grade. But what was the thing that happened is I was getting beat up by Ski White's brother after school.
Right.
And then one day my mom was pulled up and saw me getting my ass kicked, which she'd seen 1,000 times at the house. For some reason, this was the breaking point. And I went from, being a first grader back to kindergarten. So, I lost a whole year there. I was a pussy. Yeah. And I went, so I did a bit. That was one of my 2 bits. In my early, not even stand up, when I was trying to do stand up, one of them was about Larry, and then one was about beating up or getting put back a grade because I got, Ski White's brother hit me with a lunchbox, and then and then I said I need a fucking thermos. Was the joke. But my brother Larry was like, I talked about how my brother Larry was the first guy. He was like a pioneer. He came across the Great Plains and over the mountains in a wagon. It was a station wagon covered with a tarp, and it was full of baby clothes. But at 22%, Larry's still funnier than most people.
Oh shit. Well, maybe we should work to get Larry famous enough that he can make it into the death pool.
Yeah. All it would take is that clip he did with Prevent. This was a bummer because we didn't have camera rolling, but he spent a good 30 minutes talking about his dog's asshole compared to different fruits. Basically, you can only just kind of go, it's about a plum size asshole. It was but he just kept elaborating. It's like, damn, we get it, man. It's like a date and a plum, they're the same kind of thing. Yeah. But
spending too much time looking at your dog's asshole.
When Larry was on, he felt like people were listening, and he was he's not dead yet, but he's way past entertaining. When Larry was entertaining, he was a fucking funny one. He's a funny fucker. But when you throw a bunch of meth in there. Erickson saw me. You guys saw me in Amsterdam. It's hard to maintain naturally funny on meth. It becomes naturally weird. It becomes like, oh my God. Anyway, don't do meth, kids.
Yeah.
Bad for your If they put fluoride in meth, meth and fluoride should be like bedfellows. Come on, Big Pharma. How about, meth? I still think most of Larry's adventures were because he was, I don't think there's Smurfs in the trees, Larry, but that's really cool that you're experiencing this. I wish I could do that. Psychosis, if you believe it, and nobody's yelling at you about it later, is fucking an adventure.
Yeah. So you're just trying to get rid of the downsides of methamphetamine, add some fluoride, fix the tooth problem, then go out and have some adventures.
Well, some people can do meth now and then and have a good situation with it. but Larry wasn't one of them. It's like when you heard Lyle Alzado talking about steroid use. Like, dude, you got to take a month off, bro. Take a month off. All you need is a month to clean out. You can go back on them.
I've definitely done meth, but it's always been in short bursts and not. I never had a. It was. I call it dirty Adderall. I don't. It's not a big issue.
Yeah, if you do it right. I've only done it like 3 or 4 times. Larry has kind of kept me off of meth because because I'm a pussy.
When I was younger.
Yeah, it burns the nose. It's that way.
Well, I only snorted it for a short time, and then everybody switched to smoking it. And
I never tried that.
Is that better? You could definitely nap if you needed to at a certain point. So you weren't like raging fucking methed out, so you could. So I like that better, but. I did, but again, I didn't do it. I did it like on my days off as a party drug. You know what I mean? Like you would do cocaine. It never was a thing for me.
We wouldn't do cocaine. Not in the pandemic.
You can't social distance.
Unless they send it in the mail or something. And honestly, the post office don't give a fuck no more. They won't even go post.
They got their own problems.
When did they?
Yeah.
Can you believe the post office used to get so upset that they would shoot up the workplace? Now they're like most even-keeled, unaware motherfuckers out there. It's like there's 100 people in line, socially distanced. You can't put a second person up here.
Yeah, they've accepted it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the way to do it now. Just roll with it. These are all body blows, and we're the mythical character Sylvester Stallone tried to play in them Rocky movies. We're taking body blow after body blow, and eventually we're hoping to throw some southpaw bullshit at them.
But we'll probably be spitting up blood anytime.
Yeah, we'll be spitting up blood because you can't keep taking body blow after body blow. It's bullshit. Nobody fucking can do that. Internal injuries, motherfucker. That's part of the, he was part of the white myth. I was like, there's never been a good heavyweight white boxer. Name one. Jerry Clooney? Shut the fuck up. And when Rocky came out, a lot of white guys started thinking they were fucking could beat. No, we're inferior. That's what I want white people to understand is we should be going to protest rallies and saying, why aren't more black people's involved in managing us? We're inferior.
We need their help.
Yeah, you hardly ever hear of black people getting strung out on meth, but it's, come on. It's a white person. We're dumb. And we need management. Black lives matter because they're the natural leaders here. They're smarter and funnier, and they can play quarterback way better than white quarterbacks anymore. As soon as we can get that tendency to run, and that's going to come with trust. And black quarterbacks are always going to run out of the pocket, and as long as racism exists in the NFL, because the NFL's finally admitted, we did kind of fuck over Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, imagine that. Every fucking black quarterback lasts about 4 years in the league because they just get fucking pummeled and cheap shotted and fucking beaten up. These white guys are racist.
I was thinking about this the other day about, with my experience and stuff. And in the military, I experienced, maybe I was just naive, but I saw almost fucking hardly any racism being perpetrated on anybody. Like I said, we all lived together, everybody. So we had friends of all colors and whatever. And if somebody was being a dick, other people would tell you about, you would know people. I don't know. It was just, everybody was cool. And I feel, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that there's not systemic racism. I'm saying that my experience happened to be fucking very lucky, I guess, where I was just with a bunch of cool fucking people my whole life, I guess, so.
I feel like my town has a lot of racist pricks in it, but I think you kind of just get it at home and you take those attitudes with you to school, and school can change shit. But if you don't really have an attitude, my family was we were aware that we were just as inferior as anything. That, you know, we got hit. We were inferior, and then we got hit with some bad luck. and it was like them body blows, but realistic. You know,
Dude,
we like leaned into the ropes and took it, but it's like 50 years later, and I'm not sure that was a best strategy for body blows.
You should have taken a knee then.
Yeah.
I lived in a little tiny town full of trailer parks, and I lived in every single trailer park at least once, and I lived in one trailer park 3 different times in 3 different trailers. I was the epitome of fucking a poor white trash kid, so I never felt superior to anybody. So I was glad to have friends of any kind.
Yeah. Just there wasn't very many. We did give Daniel Cordova, the Mexican kid. He was a freshman when I was a senior, and we'd put him in the trunk of our car, but he always seemed to enjoy it.
Wait, what? Hold on.
But we hazed him as though we hazed him like idiot Bob Berryhill, who's we treated him equally, but shitty like you do.
Yeah.
Right. But I never really liked
shitty, but not because of a shitty reason.
Yeah, and Daniel Cordova died in a sad accident.
Not in a trunk. Tell me he wasn't in a trunk.
No. Well, he was in.
Sadly, it was what would have been a minor fender bender ordinarily.
Yeah, no, kind of it was. He was, listen to this, though. He was going uphill with the Horlocker brothers, uphill, and the car launched. They launched the car going uphill. It caught fire because they had a sock over the gas can, as a gas cap, a sock, and the car caught fire, and Daniel didn't make it out. And his mother, she just spoke Spanish and didn't know what. Danny was a big Motley Crue fan. Daniel Cordova loved Motley Crue, and he wrote all over his stuff, Motley Crue rocks. So when he died, his mother wrote that as this epitaph on his tombstone or his headstone or marker. It says Daniel Cordova, 19 whatever to 1984 or 84 or 85, and it says Motley Crue rocks. Which I go up.
Let's get Motley Crue rocks.
Yeah, and I go visit it just for the irony. But he died.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, it's like Motley Crue rocks. God damn it. And he was killed arguably by a drunk driver. Way before. Anyway.
In a hate crime.
The second coolest one in my town is my grandma always said, when the good Lord says that's it, that's it. And I was in the Seattle comedy competition, and my grandma just died, and somebody was talking about, anyway, I said, oh, you inherited some money. When somebody dies in my family, we have to scrape money together. In fact, I don't even have a headstone for my grandma. And then there was some guy goes, I got a piece of Slade. And this other guy at the table goes, I can engrave.
No do shit. It yourself headstone.
They're putting it together.
Yeah.
Crowdsourcing.
Yeah. So I got this big fucking slate thing, or it was a planted in the ground marker, and then this guy engraved it, and he goes, you want me to put anything? I go, yeah, when the good Lord says that's it, that's it. That's what my grandma always said. And then she'd followed up with, I don't know what the Lord's waiting for. Well, maybe God just mocking you, grandma. Maybe God hates you and your existence or whatever. But she would always say, when the good Lord says that's it, that's it. So when she died, and then it was like a year later, me and my brother, I got this headstone back, and it said exactly what I wanted. And then me and my brother, we didn't get a hold of the funeral director. We just got a couple buckets of cement, and we went there in the.
You went to the cemetery and added a tombstone to your grandma's grave.
Fuck yeah, we did.
That you brought?
Yeah. Because that's how it would be. Otherwise, it'd be like
she would have wanted
tombstone installation.
Yeah, I'll do. I mean, I can see you can do that. It saves money.
No, you can't. I mean, you can do that, but you're not supposed to.
My grandma lived in a trailer.
You should be allowed to.
When she was living, she lived in a trailer, and she lives in a trailer now. If you want to, you want to take away her headstone, go ahead. But I was like, well, that was free. You cut down on funeral expenses when you bury your own dead and plant their marker.
All right.
Well,
Well,
you
a
at
nice
least don't
tribute
get
for
the
it.
upsell, I guess. You
Well-
have the
Yeah.
advantage of that.
And I don't know where we're gonna bury Larry, but it's not gonna be fucking state ordinance or nothing.
Are you gonna cremate him yourself too?
And listen, I'm not digging no 6-foot hole either. But
Yeah.
Larry, you're going shallow grave, bro. You're getting the courtesy you would have had if I
You
murdered
got
you.
those. You've already got the buzzards, dude. Just leave them
You're
out.
just gonna tip a refrigerator on top of him.
Or just get everything
That'll
that's
keep the
good.
animals out.
Get everything
know.
that's good out of his trailer, put him in there, and set the whole fucking trailer on fire. You're gonna have to get
Well,
rid
there
of
you
the
go.
trailer
That's a
shit
funeral
anyway.
pyre.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All
I
one
just
idea.
realized what I'm going to go for. I mean, hopefully God will keep Larry propped up for another 30 years. But if he don't, if science is allowed to run amok, I'm going to go get Larry's marbles. I'm getting Larry's marbles. I won't need these store-bought ones I got myself. I'll go get Larry's marbles. Fuck yeah. He's got them in a gentleman's Jack bottle. 'Cause I'm not, that's expensive to get. I don't think I would have liked to have been around Larry when he's drinking whiskey.
Shit.
We should
All right.
hide.
Andy, there's actually look
Gotta
at this.
make a
Check it
drink.
out on the screen. Here's what you can do. It's a
Marble
marble
headstone.
headstone made out of cement and marbles.
Maybe some glass
Oh,
shards.
dude, you could make Larry
yeah.
a really beautiful tombstone marker.
Maybe I'll go to a Hobby
Marker's
Lobby,
probably a better word.
and a Goodwill, and then take my hammer down there, and we'll see what we can come up with. Like maybe, I mean,
what a
he's
fitting
bummed out.
tribute. That's
he's bummed
beautiful.
out. He gave his bike away, which to me seemed like a pipe dream anyway. Like he's had a bike parked there 3 years, and now that he's been told his heart rate's at 22%, he's like all bummed out, and he said, "Take the bike away. I ain't gonna ride it." It's like, well, yeah, I could have told you that. Keep the baby pool. You might be able to float. Not get crazy.
Oh shit! All right,
I might vomit.
I love you guys. That won't be the first time. Thanks for being out there, everybody. We love you guys. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you want to hang out for a little bit more, subscribe to our Patreon. We'll be right back there in a couple of minutes.